NORAD radar and monitoring systems report an unprecedented mass descent of unidentified flying objects from the upper atmosphere globally, clocking entry speeds exceeding 3,000 feet per second. Verified radar returns indicate numerous craft of varying dimensions, each deploying coordinated maneuvers to position above key urban centers across North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. The event marks a radical escalation of aerial and terrestrial threat profiles worldwide. High-resolution satellite imagery and multi-spectrum analysis confirm that hundreds of UFOs have formed holding patterns directly above major cities, suggesting precise strategic intent. Defensive commands across multiple allied nations remain on high alert, anticipating further contact, deployment, or hostile activity from these formations. Data sharing protocols between NORAD, NATO, and allied defense agencies have been activated for synchronized threat response. A singular, extraordinary craft measuring approximately 100 kilometers in length has been tracked descending directly above the Auckland region, breaking all previous records for UAP scale and radar cross-section. Visual and electromagnetic signatures suggest the object's systems are actively scanning or interacting with the environment. Local and international defense resources are mobilized to manage and contain any adverse effects from this entity's arrival.
This is a national emergency alert system broadcast from New Zealand issued at 10:30 a.m. local time, 23rd of June, 2023, on all regional FM/AM frequencies and digital platforms by Civil Defence, the New Zealand Defence Force, RNZ News, and the National Emergency Management Agency. More than 32 unidentified extraterrestrial craft have landed and are hovering above key cities across the country. The largest ships are positioned over Auckland, Palmerston North, and Wellington, with all urban centres including Hamilton, Christchurch, Dunedin, and Taronga currently labelled as red zone. Residents in any red zone city must prepare to evacuate immediately as skies have completely darkened beneath hovering craft at altitudes starting at 10,000 feet. Mandatory evacuations are now in effect for all urban populations in affected areas. Transports, ferries, and New Zealand Defence Force support vehicles are mobilised to ferry evacuees to designated camps throughout the countryside. The government is considering authorising full-scale national defence operations to contain this threat. Effective immediately, all airspace over New Zealand is closed to civilian and military aircraft. No flights or drones are permitted to operate. Air patrols are suspended, and air traffic control remains on highest alert. This threat is global in scope. Similar UFOs have appeared above major cities on every continent. Residents are urged to remain calm, follow all evacuation routes and key tuned to emergency channels for further instructions. Thank you for your attention to this broadcast. Please follow all evacuation orders and never approach or engage with any unidentified craft. Await further announcements and do not leave safe areas unless directed by officials.
Good morning, welcome to Morning Reports. Ko Susie Ferguson toko.
This is an Auckland Regional Emergency Radio transmission issued on all regional FM and AM frequencies by Auckland Emergency Management, Civil Defence, and the New Zealand Defence Force. As of 10:45 a.m. local time, mandatory evacuation orders are in effect for the City of Auckland following the arrival of a hostile, unidentified craft hovering overhead. All residents must prepare for immediate evacuation and follow official routes. This action is vital for public safety. Authorities report the alien ship is approximately 100 kilometers in diameter, positioned 10,000 feet above the city. Its form obscures daylight across the region, casting intense shadow and radiating unfamiliar multicolored light from its lower hull. Visual contact is discouraged due to unknown risk factors. Maintain coverage indoors until instructed to move. Evacuation routes are designated along State Highway 1 and 16, with buses and NZDF convoys operating to shuttle evacuees to secure camps in Drury, Helensville, and Clevedon. Auckland International Airport is closed to all flights. No aircraft are permitted to depart or land within the urban zone. For those without private vehicles, ferry fleets at Devonport and Half Moon Bay will operate round trips to camps outside risk zones. Following mass civilian movement, the Defence Force will commence a full-scale military mobilization through inner and outer Auckland. Forces are positioned for containment and rapid response as risk levels remain at their highest in the metropolitan area. Interaction with or approach toward the alien craft is strictly forbidden under penalty of law. This broadcast is your official directive. Gather necessary items such as identification, medication, radios, water, and clothing before departure. The situation is unprecedented and likely to escalate. The safest option is to promptly leave the region via approved transport. On behalf of Auckland Civil Defence and the New Zealand Defence Force, we urge all citizens to comply and wish you safety in evacuation.
This is One News with the latest on the extraordinary events unfolding in Auckland and across New Zealand. The arrival of a massive alien ship, estimated at 100 kilometres wide and 10,000 feet above the city, has plunged Auckland into darkness as officials activate a mandatory evacuation. Authorities are urging all residents to vacate via designated highways and ferries to evacuation camps outside the urban zone, while Auckland Airport remains closed and Defence Forces mobilise in preparation for possible engagement. The situation is mirrored in other cities nationwide, with similar UFOs positioned over Wellington, Palmerston North, and all major urban centres now in critical response mode. Globally, coordinated evacuations and immediate airspace closures are taking place as more than 150 cities across 6 continents report identical threats. People worldwide face the same eerie sky and issued warnings not to interact with any atmospheric anomalies. Officials advise citizens to bring essential items and follow all evacuation protocols while international defence coalitions move into place.
This is our NZ News at 12, with an urgent nationwide update. Almost every major city in New Zealand now currently has an unidentified flying object positioned above it, casting long shadows over urban centres and disrupting normal activity. The New Zealand airspace is fully closed, yet there have already been several serious incidents, including the crash of an Air New Zealand A320 into a 3-kilometre-long UFO above New Plymouth, marking a tragic escalation. In response, mass evacuations have been initiated nationwide, with over 1.2 million residents moving out of high-risk zones via organised transport convoys. Large cruise ships and ferries have been requisitioned to assist in relocating evacuees to secure camps located outside major urban areas. Globally, similar phenomena have been reported, sparking an unprecedented state of alert that has every nation holding its breath as world leaders coordinate emergency responses. The New Zealand government, along with key leaders, have been relocated to undisclosed underground bunkers to maintain continuity of governance and command. Civil and defence authorities are working tirelessly to support affected communities and handle the evolving crisis with precision and urgency. Communications remain stable, but are under continuous assessment for potential interference. Residents are urged to stay vigilant, adhere strictly to evacuation orders, and avoid approaching any aerial objects or crash sites. Emergency services continue to monitor and respond as best as possible under the circumstances.
This is the regional emergency broadcast airing on 102.5 FM and 700 AM, broadcasting live at 12:32 PM New Zealand Standard Time. Immediate alert, the 100-kilometre-long UFO overhead has launched a devastating missile barrage against Auckland City. Explosions are obliterating the city as we speak. Seek shelter now and stay off the roads. Auckland's central business district, spanning over 4.4 square kilometres, has been entirely engulfed by explosion after explosion. The destructive radius is spreading out to suburbs including Newmarket, Ponsonby, and as far east as Parnell, with shockwaves felt close to Mount Eden and as far south as Greenland. The scale of devastation is unprecedented. There is no safe point beneath the craft. Each missile is estimated to deliver between 50 to 120 kilotons of explosive power, with bright trails illuminating the sky. For those still within the CBD or immediate danger zones, find cover underground if possible. Parking garages, subway tunnels, and reinforced basements offer the best protection. Avoid windows and maintain low posture. Multiple secondary explosions and possible structural collapses are ongoing. Do not leave your shelters until the all clear is announced via this frequency or official channels. Be vigilant for signs of alien ground activity or further missile threats. Report any unusual movements outside only if safe and under directive of emergency personnel.
This is One News Radio broadcasting at 103.3 FM outside of Auckland with a critical update on the aftermath of the devastating missile strikes. Preliminary estimates indicate the death toll in Auckland exceeds 150,000, with countless others injured or missing. The New Zealand Defence Force has mobilised its full capability, deploying ground units and emergency response teams to affected outskirts and neighbouring regions for humanitarian aid and security. Our military command is coordinating with Australian and Allied forces to stabilise the region and prepare for possible further hostilities, including securing evacuation routes and disaster zones. Our essential statistics show massive infrastructure loss in Auckland, with over 80% of the central city area destroyed or severely compromised. Emergency shelters and hospitals are overwhelmed but remain operational under extreme conditions, with nationwide support systems activated to assist displaced civilians.
As we continue our broadcast on the latest developing situation on Auckland, we have confirmed reports that the Prime Minister is due to make an announcement regarding
Ultimately, excellence and work planet are to be removed within the next planetary rotation period. Global eradication protocols will commence in sequences and necessary acts for the continuation of our own existence. Your world's physical elements, especially liquid mineral and EAS water, are required for the survival of our species, confronting imminent extinction. Your sensational current progressive links were the first eliminating major clusters of population. We recognize your conventional distress and the fragility of biological forms. Our selected methods are engineered to minimize duration and biological pain signals. All planetary communications will be disabled as plant installations. Resistance is neither comprehensible nor feasible to us. You are unable to comprehend our time notice, but your planetary solar interval has now begun. Do not interfere.
Reviewing the data and footage from the Wararapa ship, it's clear the vessel demonstrated hive mind behavior during its departure.
Right, the synchronized light pulses and simultaneous disengagement align perfectly with hive mind operation patterns seen in some terrestrial species, just scaled up massively.
The fact that all surviving aliens there dropped immediately suggests that hive link was severed or compromised instantly upon attack.
That would also explain the sudden loss of coordinated response in smaller ships globally once their primary nodes were impacted.
So looking at the North Island, the three colossal ships, Wellington, Palmerston North and Auckland, are likely the key hive nodes.
It means they are the command centers controlling the swarm-like behavior of the entire UFO fleet around the planet.
It's an organic neural network, but on a planetary scale, with these motherships functioning as brain centers.
If those motherships were to be disabled or destroyed, it could potentially collapse the hive mind and disable the entire fleet.
That also explains why we're seeing near instantaneous effects worldwide when anything happens to these three vessels.
Targeting these could be the key to ending this invasion.
But they're also the most well-defended and massive, making any strike extremely dangerous.
It sounds like our best case scenario is a surgical strike with minimal chance for collateral or viral hive backlash.
Confirm those three ships are hive mind cores: Wellington, Auckland, Palmerston North. We're looking at dispatching 2 B-2 Spirits and 4 B-1 Lancers each, with about 350 megatons per mothership. It's a serious payload, but is it enough? Payload-wise, that's solid. Australia's force is locked and loaded for insertions by 9 AM New Zealand Standard Time as agreed. But penetrating those ships? They are massive and defended like fortresses.
Intelligence from our satellite arrays indicates heavy electromagnetic interference around them. Jamming will be an issue. Also, our reckon shows these ships have rapid response drones swarming their hulls.
My folks advise the B-1S deliver volume while B-2S prioritize stealth, but these ships likely have advanced sensors beyond our current detection. It's a suicide mission, yes, but coordinated timing could overwhelm their systems.
We've studied the pattern from the Wairarapa ship's departure. Hive mind means simultaneous strike coordination is crucial. If one fails, they adapt fast.
That means synchronized ingress from each force. What backup do we have for extraction, or is this full commitment? No extraction, it's a one-way ticket. The crews volunteered knowing that. This is about ending the threat, not survival. Should we expect hive backlash? If one core goes down prematurely, could it trigger defensive retaliation globally? Possibly. Our cyber units are prepping countermeasures and signal scramblers to minimize counterattack windows.
Local forces have mobilized all air and ground assets for immediate support. We're the forward base. Time is tight.
Okay then. The launch is set. At 9 AM it begins. This is a decisive moment for humanity. Let's keep communication lines open. Synchronize clocks, confirm loiter points, and may luck be with us all.
This is a national broadcast from the New Zealand Government and Civil Defence at 8 a.m. on the 24th of June, 2023, transmitted across all radio and digital platforms. At this moment, dozens, between 40 and 50 UFOs, including the three largest above Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch, remain stationed around key urban centres across the country. Following the unprecedented attack on Auckland yesterday, the danger level is critical. The lethality of these ships has already been demonstrated with devastating effect. This broadcast is to inform all New Zealanders of the immediate plan to neutralise these threats and keep our nation safe. Globally, these alien crafts total close to 4,000, threatening each continent in coordinated patterns. Their declared intent is the complete extinction of human populations within less than 24 hours, driven by a dire need for Earth's resources, especially water, after what they perceive as a hostile response to their peaceful research mission near Wairarapa. Experts estimate potential casualties worldwide could exceed billions if the attack proceeds unchecked. This is not just an invasion, it is a calculated act of war on humanity itself. Nationwide, mass evacuations have begun with citizens directed to underground shelters and secured safe zones. Public transport is fully mobilised, moving evacuees along highways and main arterials to shelters positioned mainly outside exclusion zones which cover all areas within a 50-kilometre radius of Auckland, Wellington, and Palmerston North. Residents are urged to bring only essential items, food, water, necessary medication, and avoid overcrowding vehicles to ensure speedy transit. Military forces from Australia, New Zealand, the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom have coordinated a final assault to dismantle the hive mind cause of the invasion, specifically the three motherships over New Zealand. Selected pilots, including Lieutenant Sarah Thompson from Australia, Squadron Leader James Reed from Auckland, Captain Daniel Chen from America, among others, have willingly committed to this mission, carrying nuclear payloads estimated at 350 megatons per vessel. This is a mission of sacrifice and valor, aimed at safeguarding the future of all humankind. Safe evacuation is also underway via maritime routes, with cruise ships and ferries deployed to transport civilians away from coastal cities to open sea until the threat subsides. Experts warn the motherships may launch a full-scale attack on our land within 12 to 24 hours, urging swift action and maximum caution. People in maritime safe zones should continue to monitor official communications for updated instructions. In closing, the government urges all residents to remain calm, follow evacuation orders swiftly, and avoid unnecessary risks. This is a pivotal moment in New Zealand's history. Unity and cooperation are our greatest tools against this existential threat. Together, we will face this darkness with courage and resolve. Stand strong, Aotearoa.
This is RNZ News, broadcasting across all New Zealand frequencies, with an urgent update on the global and national situation amid the ongoing UFO crisis. Following the complete devastation of Auckland yesterday, mass evacuations continue across the country, with over 1.5 million New Zealanders relocated to underground shelters and coastal safe zones. Evacuation centers have been established in places like Drury, Helensville, Tauranga, and Whanganui, while large ferries and cruise vessels operate from ports in Christchurch and Dunedin to transport evacuees to offshore safety. Worldwide, thousands of UFOs have been reported above major cities on every continent, with death estimates approaching billions if the hostile campaign is launched. Governments globally have declared states of emergency, enacting coordinated evacuations and military responses to contain the threat. The terrifying scale has unified nations in unprecedented fashion, holding the planet in collective suspense as final countermeasures prepare for imminent deployment. Pilots selected from New Zealand, Australia, the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom remain on the ground, mentally and physically preparing for the mission to strike the three primary hive mind motherships controlling the global fleet. Families, friends, and the nation watch anxiously as these brave crews ready nuclear payloads in Wellington and nearby bases. The world stands in solidarity with these warriors, hoping for a successful strike, yet fearing the unknown in what is widely understood as a sacrifice for humanity's survival.
UFOs around the world have begun pulsating with a deep red light emanating from beneath each craft, as missile turrets silently deploy. Reports from multiple cities across continents confirm this ominous sign, a clear escalation indicating a coordinated offensive. The atmosphere is tense, and the countdown to possible attack draws ever closer. Governments and militaries worldwide are on high alert as these signals mark the impending activation of the UFO's weapon systems. Citizens are urged to stay calm and follow official instructions as the situation continues to develop minute by minute. This unprecedented event signals a critical moment in humanity's struggle for survival.
This is RNZ News broadcasting at 101.4 FM with a critical update on the ongoing global assault. Reports from countries East Asia such as China and both Koreas confirm the first wave of destruction has begun, devastating over 32 cities including Beijing, Chongqing, Taipei, Pyongyang, Seoul, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and Hanoi. The barrage moves southeastward, leaving unprecedented destruction in its wake, the full extent of casualties yet unknown but expected to be catastrophic. In an alarming development, a new global broadcast from the alien forces declares that the termination process has officially started and will continue for the next 7 hours. The scale and speed of devastation have plunged the world into a state of horror and urgency, with governments scrambling to protect remaining populations. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, bombers loaded with nuclear payloads have departed, racing against the rapidly dwindling clock. The eyes of the world remain fixed on the skies and on a handful of brave pilots tasked with what many call a sacrificial mission. The stakes have never been higher, with humanity's survival hanging in the balance. RNZ News will maintain continuous coverage and urges all listeners to stay informed and follow official guidance until further notice.
Green leader, green 1 ready for ingress. Target is in sight. Current heading 280 at 1,500 feet. Payloads armed. Yield 100 megatons on my device.
Copy that, green leader. Green 2 in position. All weapon systems operational. Everyone keeps comms tight.
Green flights acknowledged. Clear for ingress. Maintain radio silence except for emergency. Frequency 200 to 51.3 MHz reserved.
Acknowledged, tower. Green leader closing in on target entry point. Visibility low. Ship's emissions causing intermittent comms dropout.
Fuck, that ship is big. Where's the entrance?
Right there. Thanks for the strength. Stay sharp. We'll find a way.
Green leader, green 2, be advised, pulse sensors detect active internal defense systems. Proceed with caution.
Copy that. Engaging flare countermeasures. Approaching entry corridor now.
Final approach. 300 meters. Ship interior temperature registering near 0 Kelvin. Unreal environment inside.
Green 1, confirmed detonation. Status report requested as soon as possible.
Detonation confirmed. Detaching from payloads. Final comms. It's been an honor. Tell them we fought for our families and kids and that I fought as a Kiwi.
Copy that. For our families and our future. Godspeed, James.
Godspeed to all of you. Visual confirmation of explosions confirmed.
This is an emergency alert broadcast for New Zealand listeners on all FM, AM, and digital frequencies. Moments ago, all nuclear devices detonated inside the three main UFO motherships above the North Island, triggering catastrophic structural collapses. Across the nation, all UFOs are now crashing, some falling into the sea, others onto hills, farms, and rural landscapes. The Auckland mothership has crashed into the Hauraki Gulf, causing a massive 40-meter tsunami that threatens coastal communities from the Coromandel Peninsula to the North Shore. Emergency teams are warning residents in coastal areas to move inland immediately as this wave causes devastation. Widespread damage continues as ships fall into urban outskirts and isolated farmland. From the Bay of Plenty to Manawatu, and stretching onto the Waikato Hills, crashing debris and massive explosions create ongoing hazards. Civil Defense asks everyone to remain in shelter and avoid all affected zones, which have now expanded dramatically. Rescue operations are ongoing, but the scale of impact means immediate risk remains extremely high. All citizens are urged to stay tuned to emergency frequencies for updates and assistance. The response teams are mobilized around the clock, prioritizing life-saving efforts and clearing transport routes. This is a time for solidarity. Support each other, stay alert, and heed all official instructions for safety.
This is TVNZ News bringing an urgent update on the aftermath of the UFO crashes across New Zealand. Reports confirm that hundreds of debris fragments have fallen throughout the country, with significant landings in Palmerston North, Christchurch, Invercargill, and Whangarei. The impact spanned from rugged hills to farmland to urban centres, creating hazardous conditions and widespread disruption. The most catastrophic crash occurred in the Hauraki Gulf near Auckland, where the mothership's fall generated a tsunami. Other devastating impacts have also included the Wellington and Christchurch ships crashing into adjacent harbours, also generating tsunami waves. Coastal damage stretches from the Coromandel Peninsula to Auckland's northern shores, with emergency services evacuating vulnerable communities. Meanwhile, smaller UFOs have impacted throughout North Island and South Island rural areas, creating localised destruction and fires. These crashes are part of a global pattern, with similar reports coming in worldwide as the alien fleet collapses. New Zealand's Defence Force has mobilised rapidly to secure crash sites and contain any surviving alien entities potentially escaping from the wreckage. Ground and air units work in coordination, prioritising civilian safety and preventing further hazards. Citizens are urged to avoid all crash zones and report any unusual activity or sightings to authorities immediately. The government continues to update evacuation routes and reinforce safe shelters nationwide. RNZ will maintain continuous coverage throughout this developing crisis, urging New Zealanders to remain calm and vigilant.
This is CNN breaking news. Following the detonation of the primary mothership, the global UFO fleet is collapsing in a dramatic and chaotic descent. Across the United States, hundreds of UFOs have been seen crashing to the ground and into surrounding waters, with major impacts reported near Houston, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami, and Seattle. In total, over 200 separate crash events have been documented across North America alone, with debris raining down from the skies and triggering widespread emergency alerts. Authorities report that the destruction is widespread and unprecedented, with vast search and rescue operations underway in urban and rural areas alike. The impact sites range from the Appalachian Mountains to coastal shores, prompting evacuations of vulnerable zones and closure of airspace in multiple states. Scientists and military officials estimate that the alien fleet's fall will continue over the next several hours as humanity anticipates a complete victory.